Okay, so let's see if this is actually working now. All right. Well, good morning. Today is April 21st. I'm starting a little later than usual. It's I had a rough night. I had a call last night for Shomrim. There were some kids trapped. Trapped is not really the right word for, but stuck. Maybe in Staten Island, and they needed a ride to get home to Monroe. So very complicated, but they're home now, I guess, or at least on their way. I, on the other hand, lost several hours of sleep, so I only went to bed this morning. I'm a little bit groggy, but that's all right. We'll manage. Anyway, so good morning, and let's take a look at the news real quick. Overnight, Iran tried to smuggle in some weapons through China, or China tried to smuggle weapons through the Strait of Hormuz to Iran. It was stopped, and today is the last day of the negotiations. So the market can go anywhere today based on what happens there, and there may be some concerns in the market you may see throughout the day because of that. Right now, it does look like the indexes are up. So that's a sort of good thing. But that's not where we are right now. So let me just bring up my big board so that you could see the big chart. Close the small charts. And now, okay, right. So good. I think you could see behind me now. And let me bring up the news just a little bit on the side here. Looks like Raytheon beat earnings. Their adjusted earnings were $1.78. The estimate was $1.53. And then they did some sort of adjustment, I see, to forward earnings. 3M has I think they came in. It looks like the estimate was $1.98. They came in at $2.14, and GE came in at $1.86. The estimate was $1.60. So it looks like GE, 3M, and Raytheon all beat earnings. United Health Group beat earnings. They're $7.23 versus the $6.57. So interesting. Also, retail sales month over month was up 1.7% versus the expected, which was 1.4%. So we have retail, actually, people are spending money, even though they claim that they're not, but they are. Okay, so that's a good thing for the economy. Great. So we have people spending money, which is good, but not good for inflation. But inflation's really kind of holding off right now, so that's okay. And unemployment is a little bit higher, I think, than we want, but that might balance the inflation issue. So UK unemployment rate actually fell a little bit. The forecast was 5.2%. It came in at 4.9. So that means that the UK unemployment is doing a little bit better. It does look like they're saying the oil prices dropped. And let me see if there's anything else in the news that we need to know. New Zealand came in, and then today, again, we have Trump and the Iranian talks. The Warsh's confirmation hearing is at 10 a.m. and then Waller speaks at 14:30, and Trump speaks at 4 o'clock. So we have, at the end of the day, a couple of other announcements that'll start moving the markets. So figure by 1:30 or so, 2 o'clock, you're going to want to see what the market's doing and make your moves before then. All right, let's pull off the news and go straight to the charts now and just take a quick look at the board. And let me see what we see here. I also want to give a shout out. My really good friend is in the hospital and he's not feeling well. Might have a little appendicitis and so I hope my buddy gets a full recovery or full shlema, and you're on my mind. Okay. All right. So feel better. It looks like the Russell and the Nasdaq, the S&P and Dow are all up about 0.25%, more or less. The Dow is leading the way at 0.4% up. Gold, silver, platinum, and copper are all slightly down. I guess people are feeling confident about the market, so gold is really not in favor at the moment as a security hedge. Bitcoin is holding at 76,000. It's down like 0.4%, but that's not significant. And it could be a number of things, including just the position it was on the board, and it needs a little bit of pressure relief back to the trend line so that it can continue its forward momentum. Okay, let me see what else is next. Okay, great. So I got some wonderful news. Okay. Excuse me for that. So we have the VIX sitting at 19. It's still elevated. It's not very, very low, but it is lower than you could see we have been previously. Oil is back under $90 a barrel. Natural gas is at $2.68. Okay. Gold is, again, I mentioned we're below 4,800. Copper is sitting right at a little bit just above $6. I really think copper is going to go. It's just a matter of time. Let's take a look at some of the items that we were talking about yesterday. I'm going to just pull up. My my post from yesterday. So now every day, at the end of the day, I've been trying to put together a post for the day's trades and what's been going on. So let me grab that, and I'm going to try to bring it up on the board for you so that you can see. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and that would really, really help out because then you'll see things. Not things, but you'll see the show. All right. Let me turn the this on again. Okay, cool. So now you can see what we were looking at yesterday. And I have the watch list that I put together. There was a couple of things that I bought yesterday. I took some profit on other things, but I did put down what my watch list is that I'm looking at right now. And you can take a look at this. It's right over here. If you go to my channel, which is ESP Investing. So if you just go here on YouTube to ESP Investing, I have it under posts, and you can see it right there. So that was my post, and that's the video from yesterday. The video from yesterday, probably not as exciting, but the post might be. Something I picked up yesterday was it came up on my scanner called Gevo, but ISRG, Waste Management, LEU, ASTS Mobile, and BITI. I just added a little bit to each of those positions. I did reduce my position in ONDS. I didn't necessarily take it all off, but I did want to capture some profit because I just don't know the volatility of the market. And I figure, a little bit of money in your pocket's not such a bad thing. So we can take a look at those positions today as well. And then let's see on the scanner what else came up and what new things we're going to want to add to the watch list. Let's go ahead and I'm going to bring up a chart. So let me see. So now, let me slide this chart a little bit over here. You could see the scanner is over here on the side. I'll just slide that over a little bit. I'll probably have to hide some of the things there off the chart, but at least you can see the chart then a little bit bigger. I'll try to do that. All right. Good enough. Good enough. So let's see. Last night, here are some of the things that we talked about on the right. And we added Gevo, right? So let's see, what did Gevo do and where are we? So we have, let me pull that out. We have Gevo currently at $1.80. You could see that it had this major move earlier in the year. Last year, we started out, it was about $1, made its way all the way to $3, and now we're sitting at $1.80. And if we have some sort of recovery in the market, it's going back to $3. That's the target. So we have a long target of about $3 there. Even, so if we break below this $1.70 level, then maybe I'll take out some, or I'll see what happens. I'm just curious what'll happen here. I'm not looking to make $1 million, but if you can make $100 by only risking, like $100, it's pretty good, right? So here's one of those situations. You don't have to take a big risk. You could buy a few shares. If you make $5, cool, right? You could just try it out. Okay, another one is ISRG. I think ISRG long term is good. They are up overnight $5, and I'm targeting in the 580 range, if not higher, in the 600s. They have earnings coming up, and we should see, it's after market today that the earnings are going to be, and I see that in the past they've had really strong responses to earnings. So this could be a play. Now it's an expensive stock. It's $465, $470 actually, but you don't have to buy a whole share. Even if you use a different trader, like if you do trading platforms like Robinhood, where you're able to buy like a single share at a time, that's an option. Let's look at waste management. So Axon is up overnight, basically flat. They should chart out within this path. I think within the next couple months, we should be in the 550 range. We're right now in the 400, so you have about another $100 to go. So there is like about 25% room to go up. Waste management also, they're at 225. They're a little bit up overnight, not a huge deal. They're right at their point of control though. If they break below 222, then you could take some alternative action, reduce the position or whatever. But it looks like they should be going long. My chart is giving them at least 15% to 262 in the next couple months. So you can look at waste management. Now, the nice thing about Axon and waste management and ISRG, why did I add them to our list, is that these companies basically have a monopoly in what they do. So waste management basically owns the garbage industry, right? Axon owns those cameras that every cop wears basically around the world. ISRG owns the Da Vinci surgical robot. Again, these are things that are not easily duplicated into the market, and therefore they own the market. Another one that's like that is LEU, and that's Centrus Energy. Why? Because they're one of the only ones that are able to refine the uranium. SMR makes small nuclear scale reactors. They're not the only game in town, but they're one of the only games in town, and they're ready to go. So they have earnings coming up in May. They hit a low of $8.85. They were at 60 at one point. They're up overnight to $13. This is around their point of control. So if you don't get it, if you didn't get in yet, don't worry, you're okay. I think they have room to go up, and I would take a small position in here. I have I don't have anything yet on SMR. I think I'm waiting to see if it comes back a little closer to 10. But if not, you know, under under 13 is a reasonable price for it. Coherent Corporation has just gone bazonkers. This is part of the photonics revolution, so to speak. We're really high on my chart. I'm not a buyer of it here. I would be reducing my position just to ensure profit, but it is something for us to keep an eye on. Now, Nike's down in the dirt of the tracks, so to speak. They're really low. They're at $47. Just take a look at their long chart. The lowest that they were since 2018 was $40. They did have a high of 170. Now they're just tanking. There is very little hope, but there may be a bounce, a dead cat bounce that they bounce like off of 40. I would just keep an eye on it. I didn't do anything, but now that I'm looking at the bigger chart, you know, maybe this dipped. Oh, it did dip to 42, so it came pretty close to 40. We are after earnings, and that's a good thing. It did miss earnings. It's not a very compelling story, to be honest. But it's just priced so low that you kind of want to keep an eye on it because there might be some opportunity. ONDS, it continues to go up overnight. It's at $11. It's doing fabulously well. I do have it at a sort of resistance worth closer to 12, so another dollar room on the resistance. But again, I just took a little profit. I'm not recommending that you do that. I just needed to generate a little cash so I can trade other things. But if I see that ONDS continues, then I may buy some more of it and get back a larger position on a pullback. SanDisk memory also is on our list. It's just going bonkers. Look at this. Since October or September, it's teared straight up. I think this is balloon territory. I don't know. This little weird, but wow. Micron, same thing. September, when the AI boom went up, you could see it just went straight tears up. I would wait for pullback 375. It's at 450. It doesn't look like it's pulling back, but as my dad says, wait till there's blood in the street, and then you can go in. QuantumScape, it's another one, $7.35. They have room to go up, and they were beaten up really bad. They were up at $18 at one point. They're at $7 now. AMD, it's another one. AMD, Nvidia, these guys have like shot through the moon. I don't know. I'm not saying get in because they're just so high, but they just keep running. Light, just like Coherent, it's running. If you don't have it, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't have it, maybe it's too late. I'm not sure. Tesla, sure, I don't think it's too late. Tesla's going to come back. Tesla's at $394. It's up $2 overnight, and I think Tesla continues going. I do have support at 392 where we were yesterday, and I think we'll continue going, back up to the $450 range in the near term. How soon is it going to happen? Let's zoom into the 1 hour. It's not a very clear path, the 1 hour, but it channel 3 is pointing to 430, which is about 7%. on the hourly, which would give us probably, based on those numbers, nothing clear or definitive, but there is a likelihood that because both channels 2 and 3 on the 1 hour are up, that it might be a recovery. What I don't like is that on this chart, this channel 1 on the hourly is down or sideways or whatever it's doing. It's not a very clear picture, but that's okay because we're right at this value area gap, and that's scary to investors. They don't want to trade that area. So a little bit of confidence on the investor part, and then this will scream across that value area gap, and that's what we'll see. So if it can make it over, we should be able to see a significant price swing on Tesla back to the 430s relatively quickly. Apple is doing what flags do in the wind. It formed this bull flag. You can see big bull flag from July all the way up into December, came a peak. Now it's kind of forming this flag channel. It's the top of that flag though, and I don't know that I buy the top of the flag. I like buying the bottom of the flag and then riding it up through. But I would be cautious. I think you still have room, definitely to 279, but that's not a lot of room. Just a little bit of room today. I could see 279 on the high side, and then on the low side 266. But I don't know if I would be trading that based on just how much room there is to run. Now, if we do see a reversal in Bitcoin, and or the continuation, I should say, of it going back up, Coinbase should follow, and we have this big value area gap right above us. So it's going to take a little bit to break through it, but we're at 211. It's the top of the value area gap. It starts at 216. So we got a few dollars till that gap starts, and then it could race across that gap very easily to 260. But we would have to see Bitcoin do the same thing. Bloom Energy, that's continuing to run. Their price target was raised to about 250. So given that, I would look for a pullback to lower 200s before I would get in and look for a long there. Google is a monster. Google's not moving that fast right now. It did make a major recovery. It had fallen to 273, and it's all the way back up to 337. So Google does not look like a buy here, but you never know because it does do this zigzag motion where it does this V, recovers, comes up to the same level, then shoots up, then pulls back to the bottom of where it started, and then shoots up again. So we can see that pattern play out a couple of times, and then it returns to this trend line. So I would like to see buys off of the trend line going up, and right now we're far above that trend line, so I'm not really buying it. Okay, CoreWeave, same deal. It shot up. Look at that. It went from 65 all the way up to 125, which was my target, and then backed off, and now we're at 118. I think we're still continuing to go up. I'm now going to raise that target on the next one to like the 146 level, and we can see from there if we make it. But again, these are all a matter of caution because it depends on what the market is doing. These are not like the consistent large blue chip plays. These are very dynamic plays that you have to keep your pulse on. Make sure you don't lose your shirt. Okay. Space became hot, and therefore ASTS became hot. Space ASTS mobile is at 82. I think it's in a decent range. I would like to get in below 80 as my entry, preferably, but 83, below 83, you're still fine. And then you're targeting like 118. You have like a 30-40% range easily on ASTS Mobile. If we see SpaceX go IPO, this should take off, and then you can like cash out. Iran is meeting resistance at about 40. It's at 48 now, but there is significant resistance there. It's at a 38 Fibonacci level, so it's going to have a tough time breaking through that. But once it does, blue skies above it all the way to 60. That's crazy. And that's where their price target is. So you could see how it can make it up there. But this is again, this is a crypto related stock, so this will all depend on how Bitcoin behaves. This should not be your only portfolio, by the way. These are not. Some of these are very risky. More risky than others. I think Waste Management, Axon, and ISRG are on the less risky side just because they're known, blue chip companies. The other ones are responding to pressures from the news and news cycles. So these are the hot items, and that's why they're doing so well. So these were going to be considered, some of them are trades versus I'm going to keep them long term. What that does mean is sometimes I do miss out on big upswings because I don't take the big downswing. But you try to steady it out a little bit. You have some positions that you can keep long that are high conviction, meaning, let's say with SMR, if you have a high conviction that their nuclear reactors are going to be the future, then you buy some SMR and you put it on the side and you don't look at it, right? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay. That's a look at some of the indexes, some of the items on my watch list. And basically, overnight, Bitcoin did move up a bit. I picked up some ABTC. It came up on my scanner the other day. We picked this up, was buying the top at $1.20, but we kind of felt that Bitcoin's recovering. So if Bitcoin recovers, should do well. It hit already like $1.40, so that was like 20 cents. It was pretty wild, pretty quick, and I expect it to continue. Now, one thing we didn't look at was Tesla. Let's look at Tesla a little bit better. Yeah, so we did look at Tesla earlier briefly, but we mentioned I'm looking for Tesla to come back further, and I think we're in that meet. So I just bringing that up because I also like trading TSLL. It is ETF. They do pay some dividend, and I think you get it like a multiple on the performance. So let's say it's Tesla moves at 1 times, this will move at a multiple of that. BITI, speaking of Bitcoin, also came up on the scanner yesterday rather. I added it to the post, and so we're at 23.20 on the price, and 23 where we are, 23.30, 23.29. This does look to be like a good entry point for BITI, supposing that Bitcoin does continue its recovery. Now, it is below the trend line, but it is on an otherwise longer term uptrend. So that's what I'm looking for as far as the recovery. Another one that came up on the scanner like 2-3 days ago, not very sexy, but that doesn't matter. Kroger supermarkets and Albertsons supermarkets. If people have money and they're spending money, they might be spending more money in the supermarket. So supermarkets, you need to buy food, right? So we're not looking for big percentages, but if we can get consistent small gains, that's good too. So we have Albertsons and Kroger's, and they're moving up just slightly. Kroger's is at 68. I think, your entry for Kroger's is closer to 65. 67 is their point of control, but it's if they move from here from 68, then the next move is up to this 72 range. It'll take a couple months. It's not going to happen necessarily very quickly, right? So we're not talking about big percentage moves, but sometimes you just want to have a little bit of safety in your account, and that's where this can happen. And if you have something, let's say like Kroger's or an Albertsons, you also have the ability to sell options on your positions and gain an extra 2% or so maybe not 2%, but maybe 1% a month. But that adds another 10%, let's say annually, right? By the time you calculate your fees and whatever else. So there is that potential. Just as an example, I wouldn't say to do it, but you could sell like the $17 call for about $1.50 for January, which is 270 days away. You would really, you'd lock in where you are, meaning you only would make $17. You could sell I think the better one would be to sell the $20 call, and you'd get about 60 cents then, which would give you, let's say, 30 cents or so downside protection before you'd be losing money. And we're talking, a slim margin here, but a margin nonetheless where you can actually be safe and make money. Because let's face it, I don't think the company is going out of business. They're not in favor at the moment. They will come back. They'll pay you 17 cents a quarter, not much, but something. Plus you make the dividend, and it's not a fast way to make money, but it's an easy grind, so to speak. I did take a position in the VIX because I just don't know what's going to happen. It's down. This position is down 2 cents overnight. I'm not really all that worried. It's a 2 times long VIX ETF, and if the trade talks don't go well, this could go up, right? So we're at $5 now. It was as high as 11 in March. I don't think it's going to go right back there, but if I can get $1, that wouldn't be bad, right? So I'm looking for the VIX to kind of bounce up again, and let's see what the VIX is doing, right? The VIX is trending up. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But that gives me a little protection if the market does go haywire. I've been following Hack. It's an ETF. Now, some of these ETFs, they're better than others. They have fees or whatever, but it does give you exposure to a number of different cybersecurity companies like Palo Alto, whatever. The names. They come back because when security comes back, this should come back, and then I could just buy one name and not have to have a whole big basket of names. I don't want to have to track too many things, and that's the benefit of having, let's say, a smaller portfolio with less positions, because there's less things to track and to work through. So it's 9:27. We are a few minutes from the open. Let's take a little closer look at SPY, come up with some levels for the day, and we'll see what we're trading today if we're going to trade SPY. So SPY has been on a nice upward tear. You could see that it's following this trend. The 15-minute channels, it's respecting it totally. So now, what does that mean? It means that I would look for the continuation up, but I do think that today we'll see volatility. So I'm going to look for a pull back down. We're at 710 right now. I think we come back down at some point today below 710 before we continue working our way back up again. And if we hear an end to the war, then this can actually really boom up. And so, I think that having SPY in your portfolio is one of the great tools to make sure that you're maintaining integrity with the at least some sort of par, I should say, with the market, right? So some of your portfolio should be at par with the market, and you could put that into SPY, right? There are other options. There's like SPY, SPY, but SPY, right? Just right there. I did pretty well buying SPY. I sold it to generate cash and buy some other things, and I almost regret it. Like I kind of want to go back into it. I want to get more SPY, but let's see if the market gets killed. We keep some cash on the side, right? It's always good to have dry powder. So today, if we see, let's say, the continuation above 711, we continue going, right? So just want to be mindful of the opening range for the day. So we didn't hit the opening range of the day yet because the market didn't open. But yesterday you could see that the top of the opening range was 709. We had a close at 709.9. So I think we're going to look for SPY to hold this level. If it breaks above 710.5, it can continue going up. But if not, I think it probably comes back down to the 709s. A lot of this is going to depend on what happens with the negotiations. That's actually going to be a big thing. So, all right, we got one more minute till the market opens. So far, everything is very positive. And we can see the Dow is gaining 0.5. Okay, so that means that I'm looking at my VIX falling and other things rising. Tesla is still holding flat. What's pulling back today? The VIX is pulling back a little bit. I had this position in GFL. It's an industrial. It's pulling back just slightly. It's 1/3% down. Netflix is continuing to fall. It's at $93.80. They had bad earnings and they fell really hard. So I'm not totally surprised. It does look like healthcare is trying to recover. Let's take a look at my sector watch board. And I may have to share the sector watch board with you. So just give me one moment. I'm going to bring up my sector watch board. And whoop. So you should see that now. I'm going to bring that behind me. Okay, cool. So here we are with this, watching the sectors of the market, and we see that XLB, which are industrials, building supplies rather, is up. XLI, which are the industrials, that's flat. It's a little bit down. But where I see green is in XLE, in XLF, in XLK, and in XLRE. That means I see there's green. There is positivity in the building supply area. There was continuation of the communication sector. That was like Google and the other ones, but it does look like it's holding at the moment, not continuing up. XLE energy is going up a little bit. It did hold its support at a 55 level, so we're bouncing off of that. XLF is running into resistance, so the financials are up, but there is some resistance at 53. We're at 52.80. So I do think that the financials are still primed to continue. Technology is up just a quarter of a percent to 150, a little bit under 155, and it does have a continuation, which does look nice trend line. XLY that's like, I don't know. This whole thing is weird, but it's that way on my screen. XLY is up a third of a percent to 120, and that's consumer staples. Healthcare is flat. Utilities are flat. Industrials are up just slightly. I was surprised they were down earlier, so that they're up. Real estate is flat as well, but look at that. It has like this crazy. I keep pointing the wrong way. It has this crazy trend, real estate. So it looks really strong. All the indexes look pretty strong. Okay, so we got a couple little charts here. Bring the big board back up. Just keep an eye on the market for now. Some things are settling, some things are rising. Let's see what's happening with what. Bring up my scanner and see if we had any alerts overnight. Oh, we had another one yesterday, which was like Hershey's. Looked sort of interesting. And no other alerts last night. Not since the Hershey one. There was also an alert that came up for MSFD. Let's just take a look at what MSFD is. I don't even know what they are. MSFD. So MSFD is a direction bear ETF on Microsoft, and it triggered last night, meaning it thinks that Microsoft maybe had a good run so far, and it's time to sell. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Microsoft is going to continue to run, but looking at the 1 minute, it's struggling here. It's looking for direction, and let's see what it does. But Microsoft, I think, is pretty strong overall. They had a rough year. They really did. Let's just zoom out to the weekly chart, and you could see they've been following several different paths depending on what you look at, but more or less starting in 2020, they've really been riding this top trend line. They fell to the bottom of this trend line a couple times, 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and every time they go way back to the top of that trend line. So if that's the case, we bounced off, we went under that trend just a little bit. We are bounced right back above it. On the weekly, we're now above our trend line again. It's positive. So I would look for continuation, right? If you say the trend is your friend, then we look for continuation on Microsoft back to the 500s. We're at 420 right now. We're at 420, day after 420. Now you could see on the 4 hours, we did zoom past the point of control. We are going slightly sideways for a little bit, a couple days, but this could be the pause before we continue moving up. Right, we're at the trend line, so we could be at the pause before moving up. What's moving today? Bloom Energy is up 5% right now. LITE is up 2.5%. COHR is up 2%. SanDisk is up 2%. QuantumScape, Gevo, a bunch of the ones that we talked about. A bunch of the ones that we talked about are also down. So SMR is down. I said I think it was going to come down. It came down. IonQ came down. Iron, Coin, they both came down a little bit, couple percent. I guess I guess Bitcoin is not doing what they want it to do. So let's just take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's holding at 75,920, but it's not running yet. And I think that's the problem with those tokens. So we're going to look for those to continue. Netflix, which got beat up. Let's take a look at what Netflix is doing. Netflix is off, but not as off as it was earlier this morning. And I think we're going to see Netflix recover. So we'll keep an eye on that watch list. Nothing came up on our watch list yet. My VIX position is flat. The GEVO position is up 2% today. Let's pull up the GEVO position. And GEVO, again, I mentioned we were targeting like $3. It's sometimes hard for me to just sit there on profit and not do anything. I feel antsy. I'm like, I think my grandfather had the same issue. He's like, he saw money. He's like, I want my money. I want my profit. Okay, so the VIX is coming back up a little bit. Kroger's is flat. Albertsons is basically flat today. GEVO, UVIX, BITI. You could see on the right what's happening. Nike is basically flat. CoreWeave is up 1%. Now, Verizon is something I like. I mentioned it the other day. They hit 44. That was a pretty good entry, and they're at 46.5 now. They're still moving up. Clear Security U is flat today. It does look like on the 4 hour they kind of ran their length. Their profit target is 65. So, on the daily, if I zoom out, do I see 65? Yeah, but you know what? It's having a hard time because it just broke above this resistance, this top at 56.56. So just because of that, I think it's a little like if you're a holder of the stock, it's probably a little nervous and you might want profit, right? We're off of the trend line, and every time we get off the trend line, we do tend to come back to the trend line. So you might be something that we want to take profit on, considering that we're already at 10% profit. Let me just pull in a little closer on you. We did hit 57.5 and then pull back overnight just a little bit. And I think that's due to the Gulf. So we can look at you. If you have you might want to take profit. I'm up 10% already, and more 17% on the position. Bad math. So there's that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's give it a minute. You might. I just took some profit. Cool. I'm not sorry. We made money. Where are we with Verizon? Verizon's pulling back just slightly today, about 1/3%. Not a terrible thing. How's Hack doing? Cybersecurity. We're up almost 1% today. The Bitcoin position is kind of like holding. The Gevo position is holding. Kroger's, Albertsons, they're kind of like a little weak today. They're a little weak today. They're not doing much. Let's see. Today's Tuesday. Is it even worth like selling an option on Albertsons? Not, not really. All right. Let's see what else is happening. Let's see what's moving today. Active on social. We've got, oh, look at this. CAR. Oh, United Healthcare is up 10% almost. Wow. CAR is up 10%. Marvel is up 3%. ASTS is up 2.5%. Rocket Lab. Amazon. Wow. All moving up. Oracle. Interactive Brokers. Google's moving up. Which I mentioned earlier, I just took profit on, is active on social as well. Reddit and MicroStrategy, BlackBerry, Apple, ATAI. These are a little bit on the downside. What's going on with ATAI today? That's some sort of like mind drug. I don't know if you want to mess with that or not. Let's zoom out to the 10 daily. Weird charts. I don't like. These are the ones that are active on social at the moment. That was JD, Apple, MicroStrategy. Again, MicroStrategy is a crypto one. Reddit is interesting. Now, Reddit at 134 was interesting. Reddit at 165, I'm not as interested, but there is that value area gap. And I do think it's going to come back. I think they have a profit target of like 180 to 200 to 280. Nobody knows, like, meaning their valuation looks like it's based on BS. Not as exciting. Okay, that's the hourly report on what's active, lovers and losers. Let's look at any analyst upgrades that happened overnight. We see CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike was upgraded. It's up 3%. Intel is at 66. Wow. Okay, I had charted this out that it should be at 66 a while ago, and there it is. I'm not buying it. I think it hit, I think it's up a little bit too hot right now. Ball Corp was raised profit target to 73 or 77, depending where you're looking. I have a 20% to 80. I don't know Ball Corp. What does Ball Corp do? Truist, it's covered. What is Ball Corp? Ball Corp supplies aluminum packaging products for beverage and personal care industries in the United States, Brazil, and internationally. They make aluminum bottles, aerosol containers, cups, and other aluminum slugs. They're headquartered in Colorado. Wow, interesting. Ball. Now, Ball looked better when it was in the low 60s than it does in the high 60s. It does, like I said, have that longer profit target, but no, I'm not buying it here. Might continue, might not. Intel, I think it ran its course. It has room to continue going, based on this like channel stuff that I drew out over the years. Because literally, this is years of trend, and this is where it should be. Interesting. It looks like Underwriters Laboratory is coming up on this list. Oh no, there's Unilever. Unilever's on this. Oh, look at Unilever. Unilever for years has support. Literally years has support. About 10% lower at 50. They're trading at 57 right now. At 50, it's a great buy. They do have a profit target. They were upgraded, so let's see what their profit target is. This is 42 pounds. They're an ADR. Just pointing out that it will cost you more to buy their stock because they're an ADR. But they, you know, look at this chart. It's crazy. I mean, they're very low right now. I don't know why. I don't know why they're so low. They're way below this trend line on the weekly. They do. You see this spike here? It's like down this double bar. I would have liked to see these two candles above, going like above this level. So what I'd say is let's look for some confirmation that Unilever might be recovering, and then then there's a possibility. You could see it was down, now it's kind of sideways. So a little concerning. I'm not ready to go into Unilever, even though it came up on this analyst upgrade. Now, Clorox, or this is Colgate. Colgate. It's at the bottom of this area. It's down a little bit today. They were upgraded as well. Let's see their weekly trend, because these companies are so good. You look at their weekly trend and they have support at 83, which is where they are now. They've been basically sitting here at support. Their price target was raised to $100, and it was raised to a buy from neutral from Rothschild Bank. Now, Jeffries has them at 88. JP Morgan has them at 95. Barclays at 80. Bank of America at 100. Wells Fargo has them at 92. Piper has them in the 90s. Goldman Sachs has them about 100. So let's look a little closer if we see anything on the 4-hour. And we don't have anything on the 4-hour, but it does look like there is that level of support closer to 76 below us. There is this local support where we're at right now of 83, and then even local target 85. So $2 up from here potentially. You could theoretically buy a leap call here to play the leap call long term and see if you can grind out some profit on Colgate. It's not a big mover, clearly. Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals was raised. They're at $4. They're up 4%, 4.44%, $3 today. Their price target was raised to 100. They're in the $70 range. So this is an interesting upgrade. Let's look a little bit further out on their chart, and we'll look at the weekly. So the weekly chart, they are up at the top. They're off of their trend line, so I don't like buying there personally. All right, so we're continuing the grind this morning. Albertsons is flat in my position there. Kroger is flat. BITI is coming back. GFL, I have this position, and you could see I'm just trying to work this weekly chart, right? So GFL, it's at 39.70 right now, and we're targeting the 50s. So GFL Environmental, I would say, is a buy around here, looking long, and let's see what happens. So U is continuing to run today. Let's see if we have anything else come up on my scanner. Doesn't look like anything else yet came up on the scanner. And let's take a look at the big board. We see that everything is a lot of green, where we have All of the indexes are positive. What's concerning me is that Bitcoin has not turned positive. Platinum has turned positive. Gold and silver are trying to recover. Natural gas and oil are off. The VIX did spike up a little bit, and it's now settling back down. So I see the VIX is kind of playing around. Let's see what happens with that. I think this is going to be based upon, wartime news. Okay. So what else do we have on the board today? Okay, I don't have anything else come up on the board as far as a new suggestion. Let's take a look now at some of those other items I mentioned. Now we have different watch lists that we kind of monitor. So we've got analyst upgrades and charts. Now, let's see if there's anything else that we want to buy today or sell. Again, on the hourlies, let's pull up the hourly scanner. Interactive Brokers is now on the hourly scanner. They're up 1% today. They're above the opening range. Oracle's at 180. Wow. Avis Budget is up 11% today. That's crazy. Wow. Avis Car. United Healthcare, I told you also, what a buy. It's at 353. That's incredible. Look at that move. They're up $30 overnight. That's a nice move. Rocket Lab is up 2% today. Amazon is up 1.5% today. Now, Amazon, let's take a look. Let's zoom out on the daily and see where we are. So on this daily, we've crossed out of one trend area into another zone. We've hopefully now left this zone and started a new zone above it. I'm going to say this. We have spiked up here a couple times and we did not break that high. That is concerning. So we have lows that are higher, but the high is not higher. So it's narrowing. What I would expect is that we'll have some more sideways movement, possibly a pullback before it continues going up. Chemcore is being talked about now. They're up 1% today. They have a profit target 26 to 29, and that gives us like a 20% range higher. So at least 6% up, maybe 12% up. I don't know. But let's say it does have room. Buy it on a pullback, unless you just want to buy the consistency here. Webull is up 7%. Webull. I'm not trading Webull, but it's been gaining steadily over the last several sessions. It was around 5, and now it's in the 7s. So wow, that's a big move for Webull. Now the daily stuff again. This is looks like JD pulled back 1%. They've been really going sideways in the last several sessions. This is the 1 hour chart, but let me pull out a wider view to the weekly, and let's see what's going on with JD. So JD was over 100 before in 20. Last year, it hit a high of around 45. We're sitting at 30 right now. There's a profit target 36 to 40, which would be the top of this range. We are above our trend line, which is strong. We're at a support level. JD, I would say, looks interesting just on the chart. The 4 hour is up. My 1 hour is, yeah, looking pretty sideways. Not bad. This might not be a bad trade to buy a little bit of, buy some JD over here, and then maybe you have a little bit of a bounce up. So you could buy a few shares. You don't have to buy a lot, right? We can look for this and say, I think it'll continue up. To buy one share, it's $30. And the experts are saying that you have like a 36 to whatever $40 range. So okay, so JD is an Asian company, and they're looks like the state administration of China is targeting some of those businesses. Now, Morgan Stanley does not have very high expectations for JD, and they have their price target at 25, but I think they might be a little bit more conservative here. When Barclays, Susquehanna, they're all in the 30s. Morgan Stanley has them lower as well. Okay, as of March, it is a little concerning. I would like to see, a higher price target before I would get in. I do like where they are, but maybe they just overshot it. So let's hold off. We don't have to be so aggressive. Weight Watchers is at $10. They're losing weight, it looks like, on this chart. On the hourly, they're going straight down. Let's look at the weekly, and you could see, I don't know what happened. They were at 50 cents. They popped to $45. They went from 50 cents to $45. That's insane. Now they're at $10, and they are at some sort of level consistent with 23 and 24, 2023 and 24, because last year they were worth nothing. Weight Watchers. Yeah, I'm not playing with that. All right, daily report. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we have. Gainers in the NASDAQ today. Wow, these are like 20%. Some of these, 700%. This one, Kit, else. Robotics, interesting. Robotics. Now, these have moved up major percentages because they're very inexpensive stocks. So if they move sometimes like a few cents, it moves the number too much. So it's not really a fair valuation of what's going to happen. So let's see. There are these other public lists that sometimes are very interesting that we can review. Stocks that gapped up. Look at this. Okay, very interesting. This is a list of stocks that gapped up overnight. On the list includes Citibank and CVS. Citibank, it's up 1% to 135. Wow, what a monster. Look at Citibank run. I was projecting like 140 by the end of the year, but we're already there. That's crazy. Okay. Other things that gapped up that didn't move as fast is ING Group. Um, and let's see. But again, on the daily, they're a little bit high. I would prefer to buy a little lower on that, right? On that gap. HSBC, nice consistent move up, but again, it's too high. Goldman Sachs is up. Um, Annaly Capital is up to 23. Again, Annaly would have been great at 20, 23. This could be the sign that they're going to continue, but I'm not 100% sure, when they're going to continue. And let's see. Okay, now, what else do we have? This is like going nuts. I know you hear all these like bing, 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 bing. Sorry about that, dudes. Dudes and dudettes. Dudes and dudettes. Okay. We're looking for opportunities. Now Amazon really it's a monster. It's up almost 2% today. Oscar Health is at 1682. They continue to run and we were looking at them. Credo is up another 2.5% today. Wow, they're running. Lennar 97. Interesting. Okay, look at this. It looks like they're making a major recovery. They're above their trend line on the daily. What does the hourly looks like? They're big ups today, right? So let's see if we have a little pullback to the 95 level for support. We're actually at this 96 level of support, right in that range. What's their price target? Their price target, it says that they're rated for outperform, but their price range is tremendous. They're really near their price target, so you can't be too aggressive there. Elevance Health, they were upgraded. Jeffries maintains a buy and target of 391. Baird has 317. Truist is 375. They're a little bit all over the board. It's mostly higher than where it is now. I would look for a pullback. I'm not buying this height, but it does have room to continue going. So what are we doing today? Right now, I'm not buying or selling anything that came up. See if anything changed on this social report. Let's look at the top 10 net gainers on the New York, or actually the active ones on the New York Stock Exchange. So Hertz is down, SMR, I mentioned, is down. Nokia is at 10. Interesting. What's Nokia's price target? I don't see it. They do have a lot of news, which is a good thing. So we're looking for things that have news that people are talking about. But American Airlines is down a little bit. They're at 12. I have their range between 10 and 12, so not a big deal. BlackBerry pulled back, but it has an upward trend. And you could see over the last month, it's been a very strong trend up. I would like to get in closer to $5.20, like 20 cents lower. Maybe another 4% down. Hertz is off 2.5%. Now SMR, I mentioned, I'd like to get in closer to the $10 range. So we're off 2.5% today. So we're entering, a territory of where we're gonna look for getting in closer, maybe even at $11. So we have Bitcoin falling today. It's just not holding strength. Whereas gold and as well is just not holding. That gives me some room for concern. Uh, the indexes are not, let's say, blowing the roof off. I think there's a lot of concern over what's going on in the Gulf, and we're going to see some sort of like issues with that. Um, I'm looking at this GFL, and I'm like, does it go up from here? Its price target's 50. The daily is trying to push up. The 1 hour is positive. It's at this resistance. Like it looks like it's about to explode. So interesting. Let's take a look at GFL and see if GFL might explode from here or not. Look, we're above the trend line. We've got a couple of stronger green bars. Um, there is that potential for us to have some movement. Now this ABTC, it's at $1.26. Was $1.30 this morning. If we see Bitcoin continue to pull back, it'll pull back. But if Bitcoin does recover, this should recover as well. And we'll target like a double on this or a triple on this. Meta is at 675 holding flat. DY is at 415. Those are things that I'm tracking. So what else is looking interesting? ServiceNow is down today. Grab Holdings are down today. Lily is down. Oh my goodness, what's Lily at? Let's see what Lily is at. Lily is below 900. I don't know what happened. Wow, look at this pullback. I would really consider adding Lily to your portfolio here if you don't have Lily. Gold is off. Philip Morris is off slightly. Firefly is another one that you should look at. They're also in the space industry. That's Fly. They're off a little bit today, holding sideways. I think they're a buy. I would like to get them closer to 36. So if you could have patience, wait for 34, 36, do that. But if you're interested, you can get in, play with that. Centrus Energy, I think, is good. Mosaic companies are good. You need fertilizer long term, right? And Rigetti Computing. I think Rigetti RGTI is going to come up today. Nebius is at 160, and they're still kind of going. I think Nebius is a very interesting stock. They're up 1% today. So they're flagging. You can see that on the hourly that we had this strong trend up, now a flag, and we're going to try to break that flag up. So SoFi is up today. AI is up today. Elevance I mentioned is up today. Oscar, Akamai, a lot of the stuff that we've been buying it's actually up today. So that's good. There are a few things that we hold in our longer term that are not doing as well today. Like I mentioned, Iran is down, gold is down, Lily is down, Grab Holdings are down, ServiceNow is down. But that could also mean those are opportunities to add, right? So there we go. We're gonna end the call soon around 10:30. It's 10:12 now, so we'll go for a little bit longer, just reviewing the markets. But want to let you get back to your day. I know that it's a busy day trading, and I will keep you posted on the new trades that I find. If things come up in my scanner, I'll let you know. I'm going to post it into that post that I put out about the trades that I do for the day. If I add something to the watch list or if I take profit, etc., I'll let you know what I'm doing just to keep you up with me. Now, remember, I'm doing things to just scratch out a couple dollars on my own. What you do is entirely up to you, but you know, I miss out on a lot of big upswings. I really do, because I take quick profits sometimes. But that's just the nature of the way I trade, and maybe it's not a good thing, but maybe it is. Who knows? So we've got some movements. Let's see. Remember I mentioned Hack earlier? They're up 2.5% today. That's the cybersecurity one. So that's interesting. Now, like, moves like this, they make me want to go, oh, wow, maybe I should take some profit. So they're at 81, and you can see that they kind of ran into a little bit of resistance, but they do have a point of control that's higher at 83, and they were at 87. So if we would go to the 1 hour, my 1 hour is targeting, we're at 81. We're not targeting a whole lot higher. What's the components of Hack? Let's take a look at, let me tell you what is in the Hack ETF, so that you can determine what you think we should do, right? So the Hack ETF holdings, so Hack ETF holdings are like Broadcom, Cisco, and Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, ANET, right? So let me just see what you're seeing. Just double check that. But okay, so let's see. I can pull this up here. So now let's say Hack has Broadcom in it. Broadcom is flat today. Hack has Cisco. Cisco's up 0.5% to 88. I'm not a big, I like Cisco, but I just don't think it's like gonna run. Just slow and consistent. Palo Alto's up 4% today, and they have a upgrade to $215 price target, and I guess that's what's pushing Hack up. I'm not sure. CrowdStrike is up 5% today. Wow. So let's see what Net is. Net is up 2.5%, and they're still working their way back. Fortinet is up 3% today. Again, they're also making new gains. So a lot of this ETF, it gives you some diversity, and that's why it's made these big gains today, even though, let's say, Broadcom and Cisco did not make the gains. Those other ones did, including, let's see, General Dynamics is down today, so that's countering that. Northrop Grumman is, oh wow, Northrop Grumman had not good earnings. I guess they're really pulling back. They're off 5.5% today to 620. They were at 700. They fell almost 100 points. What happened? They missed earnings. No, they made earnings. What am I saying? They beat earnings. They were at 614, and they were expected to only have $6.07. But they adjusted their forward guidance lower than what other people expected, and that's why they're down. So let's give it a day. But Northrop Grumman, that's a pretty hard fall for Northrop Grumman for I don't know what. Doesn't make sense to me. FFIV is up 1% today. they have a price target, 335, another $15. F5, they're part of the networking to make things go faster, basically. But it's interesting. Let me go back to the Palo Alto being up 5% with a 215 price target. And what did they have before that? What was their price target before that? New Street has them at 240. So it's interesting. They have a lot of ratings. Let's see some more. Let's see PANW price target. One of my buddies says, do I really care what people think the price target is or whatever? And I do, because I feel like people mentally target that what they're told it should be. So there's an average price target of 208 on Palo Alto, which is 20% higher. So 20% higher on Palo Alto. What was one of the other ones? CrowdStrike. So what I would think is maybe maybe those two individual things you trade separately from the rest of the ETF. CrowdStrike has a 13% price target above where we are right now. For that, I think I'll just take whatever profit I have, walk away, and I can come back. I can always come back. They were last traded at $81.10. I'll just try to get $81. Let's see if we can't get it. I'll take a little bit less. We close the position, and I'm good. Okay, great. Means I also have a little more cash to play with to trade something else, right? So we just like to go. I mean, I don't mean to sound like Bob Ross, but just little moves here and there, little moves. So Hack is up 2% today. Wow, 2%. What a move on Hack. Okay, what else can we buy, sell, or trade today? It's like things are burning a hole. It's like money is burning a hole in my pocket. I want to sell, I want to buy. I want to sell, and I want to buy. What do you think is going on with the VIX? Albertsons is up almost 1% today. Kroger's, again, this is boring, but at least it's something, right? Gives you something to do. What else are we trading today? Ooh, something popped up on my watch list. BTI, British American Tobacco. They're off 2% today, and they're coming up on my watch list. Let's see. What's their weekly chart look like? Interesting. So they're at a support on the weekly. 55 would be their support. They're at 56. So let's just draw a support line. Where we see the bottom here. And we're just going to cut the tops and the bottoms. And, we have, it looks like some support here at 56 exactly. And there is a little bit lower support as well closer to 53. So there's a second tier support at 53. We are below the weekly trend line. We don't have a lot of that going on. Now, you see, whenever there are red candles, it does tend to have a little bit of a flow below the weekly trend line, comes back to the weekly trend line. What I would suggest is let's let this work itself out on BTI. Let it turn to green, and then maybe we would consider buying. But, just be cautious, I think. I'm not sure if we're ready yet. We have on the daily chart, the point of control is about 50, and we're 10% higher. So I think we have room on tobacco to come down. But it was added to our watch list, so I will add that to our watch list. Easy peasy. Now let's go back to my live cast today. I'm going to make a post. Today is April 21st, 2026. And here's what we're doing. We're buying, we're selling, we're watching, right? So anything added to the watch list is BTI, and I would like an entry at 50. Looking to enter. Let's see. I need to have like some nomenclature, like what I think buy range is $50, and then we'll put a price target, right? So I'll try to have both. I would target 65 on British Tobacco if I had a price target. Let's see if I can get a price target from one of the other sites. So their price target is roughly 60 to 69. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback, and then let's target 63 as our profit. All right. So let's target like 63, 60, 63, and like 65. Let's look for price targets there. And what else? We sold. We took profit on you. I think we had like 15% profit on you. I also closed Hack today. Just again, just banging out some profit. Not that it's going over, but I took profit because most of the ETF components look tired. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm tired and they're not tired. They're just fine, but I don't know. All right, so now we've got watch list. We didn't buy anything today. We just sold. And we're going to keep an eye on things. So what else are we going to do? I don't know if we're going to add to positions or whatever, but right now I don't have anything. So let's see. I'm just going to casually peruse what else is down, what else is up today. I want to add to Lily. Netflix is down. I think we should add to Netflix. Let's add to Lily. So let's add Lily. we'll buy some Lily. And what else do we want to add? Now, remember, like if we're already trading, like, so we want to sometimes just continue trading what we're trading if we believe in the thesis. So when you see something that you believe in its thesis and it pulls back, that's when we're going to go long. So we can add to positions like that and see if we can't make any gains. So Lily, we have a little bit of Lily. Now remember, Robinhood, you could just buy like $10 of something. You don't have to buy a lot. Service Now pulled back today. What else? And Melly pulled back today. So those are the pullbacks. And Google pulled back a little bit. What's Google doing? What's Google doing? Isn't it funny that Google got its name? They were thinking of a big number, but the spelling of it was a typo. Like one of the biggest companies in the world, the spelling of it is a typo. Crazy. So, want to keep some cash handy. I'm not looking to just dump money into the market because I can, but I do think Lily under 900 is a buy. What about now? What do you think about Service Now? So Service Now, it's 103. They're still down, but I think they have potential to turn around from here, and I think they're going to continue to run. Frankly, they have earnings after market in another day, so under 100, I would be buying Service Now. It's just, popped up $3 to over 100, but you could see that Service Now has potential to continue running back all the way up. I think, and that's one where I wouldn't be entering in like on a ETF. Netflix is pulling back again today. Not doing that well. You're typing away me Netflix. Okay, here we are. 93.65. It's oversold, but I think you can add to here and you'd be fine. I'm just not dumping tons and tons of cash into a market. I don't know. All right, IREN. Let's take a look at IREN because IREN pulled back, and I do believe we will see some turn in crypto. So IREN's at 47. I would have liked them lower. But this is a flag. Look at this big flag. You see that? Wow, what a big flag. Now, what do you think about gold? Do you think gold is going to come back? Like, we're off today, but it does look like it's going to come back. And if gold comes back, it's going to race up. So what do you think about buying something like a gold ETF, like GLDW? Like, you just buy it, you sit on this, and if gold goes up, this goes up. But in the meantime, you get a little dividend every week. So what do you think? Do you think gold recovers from here? And if we look at the big board, whatever, we've got a level of support on gold, right? So if I bring up MGC, we are trading in a bit of a range on the daily, somewhere between 4,700 and on the high side 4,800. I mean, this is a tight range, which we will break out of. And I have the 4,800 level as the support. So I think it makes sense to maybe add to that gold GLDW position that pays weekly, and just kind of sit on it. All right. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna buy some gold. I'm gonna add that to my post for the day, and then I'm gonna close out the show. I'm running out of voice, and so here we are. I have the post for the show. I'm gonna copy the link here to that. I'll throw this up onto my Twitter, and you're welcome to join me on my Twitter adventures, as well as the Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But really, I'm here on YouTube and my WhatsApp. I have my private WhatsApp channel where I share my trades for the day, and I have discussions. I show charts, and I answer questions. So if you'd like to join my WhatsApp group, please feel free. You can drop me a line. There's ways to do that on my profile on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and I greatly appreciate you hanging out with me today. So thanks, guys. Have a great day.